Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. Yesterday on this platform, I opined that tension was very high in status over the war between Moses Kuria and the media. And I concluded that in that war, Moses Kuria was not going to win. But it was very clear that Moses Kuria was enjoying the support of William Arap Ruto. And today, William Ruto came out openly and defended Moses Kuria.
We must defend the free media. We must defend their right to criticize, to say whatever it is that they want to say, even to write propaganda, even to say the wrong things, even to write falsehood. We must defend that right. But we must also defend the right of those who hold the media to account or who call out the media when the media goes rogue. We must also defend the right of people like Moses Kuria to speak their mind. The same way we are defending the media to say all the things they want, including the wrong ones, right? And I saw one journalist saying the president should defend us from Moses Kuria. That's fine. I will do my bit. But I want to ask them, so who is going to defend me from rogue media? Because I go through hell all the time. Yes. Yeah, so I think we need a fair balance. Yeah, we need a fair balance. And I think if they are feeling pain about what others say about them, it should tell them there are people who feel pain when they write falsehood about others. And I hope this will enable us to calibrate what we say, either way, against other people, for other people. I think it will really bring us together. The central aspect of this is that we must always know that we have a country called Kenya. We all belong, and we must all defend.
And for the record, in that video yesterday, I gave you 4 scenarios, what I thought was happening. Number 1, I stated very clearly that Moses Kuria was actually working under the instructions of William Arap Ruto. That there was no way Moses Kuria would speak the way he was speaking without Ruto's blessings. And earlier today, Moses Kuria was at the Senate. And I paid very close attention to Moses Kuria.
And I'm a happy man today. I am not apologizing. First, they should apologize to Gerard and I, whom they have threatened to fire, just for wanting to write an article that is balanced. My friend, I've been a media owner before. I've been a writer in your newspapers and all that before. There's nobody who is pro-media more than me. But I know the difference between media and what Thomas Baldwin called the prerogative of the harlot, the exercise of power without responsibility. Thank you.
He was still defiant. He was confident. That just proves that he had the support of the president. And I also explained, number 2, that probably Moses Kuria was behaving the way he was behaving, that confidence, because he was holding William Ruto hostage, probably because of a deal. Remember, the scandal which the nation exposed about the edible oil was actually executed right inside cabinet. So there was nothing William Ruto was going to do to Moses Kuria. So Moses Kuria was just holding him hostage. What can you do? And I also explained, number 3, that whatever we were witnessing probably was also oiled or was being ignited by the fallout within Kenya Kwanza, especially between Rigathi Gachagua and Musalia Mudavadi. And that can explain why so far it's only William Ruto in the country, Rigathi Gachagua, who have supported William Ruto. Mudavadi, in fact, today dissociated himself and the government from Moses Kuria.
First of all, let me put it this way. Kenya must always have a vibrant and free media. That is what the Constitution expects. That is what the Constitution demands. And that is what Kenyans must get. All right? So, as far as I'm concerned, the government is committed to a free media, a vibrant media, an objective media, as required. So, we are not running away from that. and it should be clear. The second point I would say is that there's a very thin line between a public official and somebody in their private capacity. So my advice to any of my colleagues or anybody in public space is that be very careful in the statements that you make, because there may be personal statements, but because of your status in society, they could give the impression that it is a public policy. It is not. So we need to be very clear that the government of Kenya stands for a free and robust media. And in any case, I would also go further and say that if somebody feels aggrieved, you can criticize, you can raise your objection, but vile language is not an option.
Then the deputy president failed.
And lastly, I was also very clear that probably the intention about that particular drama was to divert the attention of the country from the real issue. And the real issue was the finance bill. The real issue was the edible oil scandal. The real issue was the NHIF scandal. And they succeeded in doing all this. But it's now coming out clearly that Moses Kuria was actually working or operating under the blessings and the instructions of William Samoei Arap Ruto. So in this particular video, I want us to look at why Ruto would come out openly to defend Moses Kuria. You see, the issue Kenyans are having is not even about Moses Kuria per se. It's about the kind of language he's using as a senior government official. You know, he can have his fight with the media, that's normal. But the kind of language is what Kenyans had issues with. And for William Ruto, he's defending Moses Kuria. Why do you think William Ruto is defending Moses Kuria? Before we get into all those, because I have 4 reasons, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or 2, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And without any further ado, I want to go straight to the point. And by the way, one of the vehicles in William Ruto's convoy was involved in an accident. And as someone who's been part of convoy, I know how sometimes it can be dangerous. And you know, these guys, normally they are very tired. I want to assume that probably they made several trips. You know, sometimes when Ruto is going to Naivasha, for example, he flew. So which means these guys had to drive. And then they were going back. And I've not really followed William Ruto's movements this week, but probably these guys were very tired. So let's hope that all of them will be fine in the shortest time possible, so that they can go back to their jobs. Now, let us get back to this issue. For me, if you ask me, number one, why William Ruto is defending Moses Kuria, it's because William Ruto is avoiding negative media on Kenya Kwanza government. It's actually a strategy to shield Kenya Kwanza from the media and the scandals. Assuming today William Ruto woke up and told Moses Kuria off, the next thing will happen is that he's going to be asked to resign. Again, the media will make headline. The story will go further. And that is what that's exactly what William Ruto is trying to avoid. He doesn't want the story to proceed. So he's coming out to defend Moses Kuria, at the same time accusing media. So that's number 2. I also try to think that there's a way William Ruto fears Moses Kuria. Probably there's a deal he knows. Probably Moses Kuria knows a lot. Remember, Moses Kuria is the Minister for Trade. If you want to execute deals in government, especially the external ones, the Minister for Trade is handy. So if these things were imported, it means Moses Kuria was directly involved. So if William Ruto were to disown him, and the kind of a person Moses Kuria is, he would go berserk. If you are Ruto, what would you do? I'm just asking. If you are Ruto, if you are in William Ruto's situation and you are dealing with Moses Kuria, what would you do? Because if you warn him, the next thing will be demand for resignation. And you'll be forced to kick him out. So Ruto would rather have Moses Kuria and support him than go that direction. Because he doesn't know what Moses Kuria is capable of doing. This is a man who dumped the former president, who was his own member of parliament. In fact, if there's an individual who ought to have stood with Uhuru Kenyatta, then that person would have been Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria dumped Uhuru. And he campaigned him. What about Ruto? He can do anything. And that's the fear William Ruto has. Number 4, I'm also convinced that the idea of supporting Moses Kuria is probably informed by their strategy to paint media as biased. You know, Kenya Kwanza have tried so hard to project the media as biased against Kenya Kwanza. If you paid very close attention to William Ruto, that's exactly what he was trying to do. And lastly, I think the Ruto is trying to avoid Azimio trap or falling into Azimio trap. If you were to say that, okay, Moses Kuria was wrong, you know, as a government, we apologize, that's not the position of the government, what do you think would follow next? That would be giving Azimio an open check. And Azimio can actually use that to even institute legal proceedings against Moses Kuria. You know, someone will say that, okay, it's about this, that, and that. So for me, the idea is basically to save Moses Kuria from being kicked out of government because someone was going to demand resignation. But I can predict something, that if William Ruto were to reshuffle his cabinet, Moses Kuria will be removed from that position and probably will be taken to another docket. I don't know what you think, but for me, Ruto is trying to save Moses Kuria. He's trying to save Kenya Kwanza. He has no option. I don't know what to think. That's my take. Thank you, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.